QNT holders, I think that this video might just open your eyes to how big QNT really is. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we take a look at my post back in August of 2023, I basically compared QNT to Bitcoin, and I said that I could 100% be wrong, but I think QNT is the closest thing to a second chance at Bitcoin. Now, I want to say it's the second chance at Bitcoin utility-wise. This is basically our utility Bitcoin. Because remember, once Bitcoin gets flipped, once regulations are in place, I do question the integrity of Bitcoin being a top 10 project. I personally see a lot of these utility projects flipping it and becoming even bigger than it. I strongly encourage everyone to join the free Discord. There's going to be a link at the top of the description below. This is one of the most valuable and informative Discords out there, and it's completely free. There's a free side that has a ton of free crypto gems, free market strategies, guides, market trends, free charts, and there's also going to be new cheat sheets dropped in this Discord. And already we have a ton of testimonials from members of the Discord that have been absolutely loving it. So what are you waiting for? Go and click the link at the top of the description below and join the free Discord. And QNT, considering the supply, considering the utility, considering what's happening right now, has a good probability of becoming one of the largest utility projects in this space. So I said, 33% less supply than Bitcoin, 100 times the utility, recently collaborated with the BIS and the Bank of England on interoperability between central bank ledgers. They also explored use case potential of APIs within a CBDC system, pioneering institutional adoption of digital assets through partnerships with UST, partnership with SIA, Nexi for interoperability with banks and financial institutions, Oracle partnership with exposure to 400,000 customers, LAC chain partnership for seamless interoperability in Latin America. This one is continuing to expand with unlimited use case potential like cross-border payments. Quant Network has also partnered with tons of leading projects within the space. This allows them to offer their services and connect with their networks through Overledger. The way I see Quant is simple. It's the gateway and infrastructure of tomorrow, the bridge between two diverse worlds, the traditional one and the digital one. The QNT token itself is integral to the entire platform. Through the platform, those connected are able to tap into unlimited opportunities like tokenization, efficient cross-border payments, digitalization, etc. Now, let's talk about this real quick. I have two videos that I want to play, and then I really want to go and continue on connecting the dots and giving you guys a full-on image of just how big Quant really is. Over here we have from C_traders, buying QNT is buying a ticket and securing your seat on board the future financial money train. Quant Network is one of the architects that's helping to design this train. Don't sell your ticket before the journey has even begun. Now check this out.
So in 5 years' time, where it's going to be, I think value will be derived in the trillions because excuse me, because we will be transacting with new markets and new customers. And then I think in about 10 years' time, the way you send money on your mobile phone to a third party and the way you buy and sell goods, it's going to be like that, but global. You're not limited to your local country or your local jurisdiction. So it's going to be seamless. And in the back end, no one's going to care how it works. They just want to know, I can do business with this company in this jurisdiction, and everything is okay, and we could trust each other.
So you guys have it. Again, that thing that he just said there, that last part, how it's in the back end. Nobody cares how it works. It's on the back end. This is what the internet was for money. This is going to be one of the biggest innovations ever. What he also said in the beginning was that it's going to be valued in the trillions. And I would argue that's probably going to be valued in the tens of trillions. There's quadrillions of dollars out there. There is so much money moving on a day-to-day basis. Just take a quick look at the central bank as a tree trunk supporting a diverse ecosystem. You have APIs at the center point connecting central bank money to everything. We're talking about music, TV, transactions, online payments, phones, devices, anything that you can literally think about, all connected through the private sector PSPs with APIs back into the central bank money. Now, outside of this, we also have this from Big Bags 30K. When 2030 comes around, don't say no one told you what powered the entire system. Check it out.
Fragmentation. The system is already fragmented, so it doesn't make sense to make even more fragmentation, because that's going to make payments even more complex. DLT versus retail versus wholesale, all that will be extremely complex. So that needs solving, and we're seeing that happen with projects. But the other driver for industry is CBDCs are coming. Banks will have to be ready for CBDCs by the end of the decade. Most of the central banks have said by 2030 they will issue a CBDC. So the best way to tackle that and prepare for that is for banks to innovate rather than wait for the central bank to lose patience and then mandate a CBDC on banks. It makes sense for banks to innovate today, build the infrastructure, work with fellow counterparties, and create the infrastructure for CBDCs together. And that way, for the first time, you have a say, you have a seat at the table. You're not there receiving the mandate and then you have to react to it. So it's a very proactive thing to do. And I think that's what is driving a lot of the innovation today, to not be in that situation.
So there you guys have it. And, all the central banks, all the big banks, they need to be ready for this. That's why we look at the regulated liability network, which is this infrastructure layer here. And you can see how this all connects through Overledger as well. And you have those API gateways. You have Quant at the bottom point with the Bank of England, Rosalind Sandbox, for an example. Like, so many are missing the big picture here. Over here, we have the future of finance, digital money events, how the ways we pay and get paid are going to change. This was from May 3rd, 2024. This event already happened. Check out some of the sponsors here, supported by SDX, Quant, R3, some nice names, nothing too crazy. But look at the speakers here. Deutsche Bundesbank, BIS, HSBC, Citi, JP Morgan. I mean, guys, the list goes on. Like, this is a very substantial event, and it feels as though it is a banking event where they are planning, discussing, and really kind of meeting to talk about what's happening right now around the current landscape of the financial system. I don't see any major players on here that are not financial giants, major banks, organizations around the banking system. And when we come down here and we really kind of look at the agenda, right? Future of finance, Bitcoin versus fiat currency. Did the cryptocurrency promise to transform money die of its own shortcomings, or was it killed by central banks? Literally telling you, like, listen, although Bitcoin, it might be big, it's not transforming money the way that Bitcoin was supposed to. So now we look at how can we actually transform money? That's where we're really kind of looking at, right? The impact of digital money on how payments are made. Here we also have a few things. How can we build a fully transferable tokenized deposit market? I mean, these are massive banks. Like, these are banks that everyone knows about. JP Morgan, Citi, and they're literally talking about tokenization, tokenized deposits, interoperability, right? Here's interoperability being discussed. Like, it's just crazy to me that these types of discussions are happening, yet everyone's like asleep at the wheel, essentially. Here we have, is a unified programmable platform for multiple forms of digital money and digital assets a viable objective? This is that unified ledger technology that the BIS has been talking about. And here we have CEO at Quant, Gilbert Verdian, SDX, advisor and solutions architect at the BIS. Interesting. So the BIS is a panelist on this discussion of a unified programmable platform for multiple forms of digital money and digital assets as a viable objective. And Quant's there. The CEO of Quant is there. Very interesting. And again, there has been a lot of these types of events where we see the largest traditional giants out there at these events, and you have names like Quant there talking about specific things. For example, this unified programmable platform approach that the central bank of central banks, literally the organization that makes money work, is on the panelist discussion with him. Like, go back a couple years ago, these types of events would be looked at as like, that's insane. But now we're starting to see this entire space morph into a much more utility-driven space. And that's where Quant really kind of becomes a big deal. Now, building on top of this, right? You already have Quant working with the BIS and the Bank of England on Project Rosalind. You have Project Enbridge, which is connecting economies through CBDCs. You also have, Enbridge getting an update from June 5th. It reached MVP. And now it's inviting more international participation. Remember what this really is. Like, this is the buildup to the Finternet. And the Finternet, all of this still requires interoperability in a very large way. The design of this will need those unified ledgers. And what's crazier about all of this is SATP. If you hold QNT and you don't know about SATP, you need to learn about it. Here we have a post from February of 2023. Quant bolsters DLT security and interoperability with secure asset transfer protocol. This is what everyone needs to look at, because this is the new technical standard for the internet. The protocol aims to enable the transfer of assets across DLT networks in a secure manner. This will be achieved in part through standardizing communication between networks and securing transactions across networks. Guys, SATP is so well connected. A lot of people don't even understand how SATP is connected back to Quant, but this is Quant is one of the big players when it comes to this. And this is how we achieve the connections between all DLTs with all the central banks. This is how we achieve the unified ledger approach as well. Over here, we have the breakdown of secure asset transfer, the use cases within it. And this is where things get very interesting. So if we scroll down, we can see trade finance and logistics. This is around international trade and supply chains. This is how it works. You have the exporter's bank, importer's bank, exporter, and even the carrier. You have the trade finance network at the center point, the trade logistics network as well. Again, this is all through SATP. You also have down here how the full breakdown works. Again, like I said, this is all connecting A to B. You can look at this even around payments. In fact, down here we have tracking food shipments. This is crazy. This is literally everything. Currency and finance as well. Again, focusing on the paradigm of DeFi and the emerging application of central bank digital currencies. This is how you get those connections. This is how everything works. And by the way, they're even mentioning, the private sector and the public sector here. They're also talking about the BIS and the architecture around this. Here we have a two-tier system. This is the wholesale CBDC network, retail CBDC network, and the retail CBDC network on the right side. But inside of this, you have the client accounts, commercial bank A, commercial bank B, the central bank, commercial bank C's account as well. And this is a multi-CBDC economy. They even mentioned the multi-CBDC economy up here. So this is where you have the potential to benefit, cross-border payments, protect monetary sovereignty. This is wild. And so many people don't even realize what SATP actually is. This is the standard around everything. We're not just talking about CBDCs. We're not even talking just about securities. We're not talking about, just bare minimum. We're talking about everything. Here's a stock network. Basically, the stock exchange changing. Everything changing. Decentralized commerce. Digital art and payments across national borders. Streaming services. Trustworthy DNS resource record migrations using a augmented EPP. Down here we have interoperable protocol considerations. I mean, this will touch everything that you can think about. That's why when we go back to that image over here and you see the whole tree, the ecosystem tree with central bank digital currencies, SATP is the key for all of this. Even here, we have the goal of secure asset transfer is to develop a standard protocol which operates between two gateways for the purpose of transferring digital assets between networks or systems. Each gateway represents one network or system, and the SAT protocol performs a unidirectional transfer of a digital asset from the origin network to a destination network. This is true interoperability. This is the standard protocol around interoperability. This is what allows this whole goal, this whole image, this whole vision to become a reality. This is why I say Quant is so much bigger than just like the surface level of what a lot of people report on. This is truly the technology, in my opinion, for this entire new financial system to be realized in. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.